All right, so now let's look at a couple ones where we're actually solving. Okay, so now we're putting just both of these parts together. I'm going to let you go through example 6 on your own because that one, they have all the steps there for you. Let's look at, I'm going to look actually at the next page and do some examples. I think that would be the best thing to help you. Okay, so solve each of these by factoring. All right, so we're going to look for the GCF in each one first. Okay, the A and B are both set to 0 at the beginning, so we're all set for those. So check for his GCF. That first A, there's nothing that's common to all three of them, so I can't pull out a GCF, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to start right here. I'm going to leave it equal 0. And I'm going to try to find the right product. So I know in front has to be a 2x and x. Okay, so the back one on this one might have a couple things for me to try. I may try 6 and 1. Okay, but if I do that, I can't get that -1 in the middle that I need. So I kind of do a little bit of trial and error. And maybe I try a 6 here and a 1 here. But that kind of makes my product even worse. Okay, so let's try something else. Let's try to put a 3 here and a 2 here. That can multiply to 6. Let's check our outer and the inner, and let's see if it will work. My outer gets me a 4x. My inner gets me a 3x. That can certainly work to get a -1 if I put my minus here and my positive here. So I have the right set that works. I'm just going to erase this part so I can finish solving it. Okay, so now let's actually do the solving. So now we're going to set each to 0. And we're going to get, so this one's a nice easy one to solve. So x equals 2, so that's one x-intercept. And this one, I'm going to bring over the 3, divide by the 2, and there's my other x-intercept. So if I had to write them as ordered pairs, if I was looking at a graph, whoops, that means this would cross at -3/2, 0, that's one x-intercept, and 2, 0. Okay, so let's look at part B. Okay, so this one, it's already set to 0. So I'm going to look to pull out my GCF, and I do see that they have a 3 in common and also an x. So what's left would be an x minus 2 equals 0. And that's factored all the way for that one. I don't have a trinomial left. I don't have any more x squared, so I'm going to set each to 0. And I get a 0 out. There's one solution. And I get a 2 out. So I should always be getting 2 solutions for these for a quadratic. A linear equation has one solution, x is to the first. Quadratic has 2 solutions where x is to the second. Okay, and then C, let's see. First I'm going to clean up C. I'm going to get it to be the form that I want before I start factoring, which means I'm going to bring this over here by adding. I'm going to add this over. And then the 6 I'm going to add over as well. So it's going to look like this. X squared plus 5x plus 6 equals 0. So the fact that it's a positive 6 in the back means that these have to be the same signs. That's the only way I can multiply and get a positive 6. So x and x, if I put 6 and 1, the only way I could get a 5 out of those if they were opposite signs. So it's actually 3 and 2, both positive. And if you FOIL that out, you'll see that you get x squared plus 5x plus 6. So if I set each to 0, I get a -3, and this one I get a -2. So those are my 2 x-intercepts for that one. All right, and this last one, determine the zeros. Same thing as finding the x-intercepts. So I'm going to plug a 0 in for y, and I'm going to try to factor this up. So there's no GCF to pull out, so I've got to just deal with that 2 in front, which is okay, especially with the 1 in back. Because it's got to be 2x and x in the front, which means it has to be 1 and 1 in the back for this one because there's nothing else that could multiply to 1. So I have to have my right set right now. It's just a matter of putting the right signs in. So I do need them to be, since this last number right here is positive, they have to be the same signs. And since they have to combine to a negative, the only thing that will work is two negatives. And if you FOIL that out, you'll see that you do get that negative 3x in the middle. So now I'm going to set equal to 0. So I'm going to get a 1, and I'm going to get a 1/2. So let's just write these as ordered pairs because these are zeros. So that means this graph is going to cross the x-axis at 1/2, 0, and then again at 1, 0. This graph is going to cross twice. So be sure to check out the other video, the short video that I made of just a few more factoring exercises.